Hi there. Tuesday, and that means we delve into matters legal with our resident legal expert, Advocate Lance Brogdon. Morning, Lance.
Morning, Jim. How are you?
Now, as you see me, absolutely radiant.
Gorgeous, man. Gorgeous.
I wouldn't go that far. Listen, it's something we were chatting about at the end of last week, because I was driving down one of the main arteries in Johannesburg, and I was stopped in a roadblock. And it just got me wondering what your rights are in a roadblock. So we thought we'd take some time out today just to discuss the different types, because I believe they're roadblocks and they're road
Side checks.
side checks. Okay, what's the difference between the two of these?
Yeah. Howdy, guys. Okay, so this is quite important. I'm going to share with you today because, as Jeremy said, a number of people have approached us and said, how can they stop me? How can they make me do this? Let's just differentiate. A roadblock is what it says. In other words, the road on either one or both sides is shut down and constricted. It's very formal. There are the right officers and the right vehicles there, and they will check for various things. The roadside check is more unexpected. You will be called over, pulled over, but the road itself is not blocked. You're taken off the road. Those are the two primary differences between the two.
Okay, what are the regularities then around a roadblock?
Okay, that's quite good. So roadblock it has to be something that is formalized by a commissioner. I think we'll get that question just now. It's quite important how it happens. The roadblock, they have a lot more authority and rights in a roadblock. They can ask you to check your license, your driver's license, your car license, a number of things, but they can't indiscriminately check you or your vehicle. Okay, there's on a certain circumstance. There are exceptions where they can. So the roadblock is formal, it's organized, it's orchestrated, it has a strict time from A to Z, and they follow certain protocols, and the right people are there.
Okay, so hang on. Are you saying then that if I go into a roadblock, they can ask me to open my boot, surely?
No, they have to have reason to ask you to open your boot.
Oh, really?
But the reason is it's got a lot of latitude there. So don't get wise-ass and, wait, what's happening? If they suspect anything, or don't even suspect, but just surmise, they have a lot more latitude than one would think. They also can't search you on your person unless you behave in a certain way or act in a certain way. Unless the roadblock is there for a specific purpose, like checking for cross-border narcotics, weapons and the like, they will always ask you, do you mind if we please open your boot? You can be quite resilient and resistant, but be aware. They have quite a lot of latitude if it's in their opinion. So it's open-ended. They're not supposed to, but they do have a lot of discretion there.
Now, because what happened and what usually happens in the roadblocks I've been stopped in is they will check your license disc.
Yes.
They'll ask to see your driver's license.
Yes.
And they generally, if it's at night, they'll generally say, have you had anything to drink?
Yeah, in your case, they just say, how much did you have to drink?
No, stop it now. What happens, and this is a very real problem right now,
Right.
with people whose driver's licenses have expired, and they can't get new driver's licenses because there's a problem with actually processing these things.
Thank you for you wise people listening. Your driver's license never expires.
What?
The card expires, but your license does not expire. That is why even after 5 years of driving with an expired card, there are no penalties and fines. Guys, please, don't get wise-ass, etc. about this and get cocky. But your license is valid unless it's taken away by a court decision, an instruction, or for medical reasons. Your license does not expire. Your license card does every 5 years. And for sanity checks, please try and keep your license card updated. Quick one on that, Jim, and this might be valuable for our insurance guys. So insurance companies are quite adamant about saying, do you have a license? Yes, you do. They also check on the card. The card is because there's a lot of fraudulent licenses. But in essence, if you got your insurance, you're covered, your license card expires, you're still licensed, and don't let an insurance company or anybody tell you that, sorry, you're not licensed, we won't cover the claim.
Geez, two really, really important points that I never knew about. Thank you for that one, Lance. Okay, let's move on to the roadside checks now. What should we know about those?
Okay, so roadside checks are random. Once again, the officer or officers have the freedom to pull you over. But it's different. One, make sure they're in uniform. Okay, they have to be in uniform. Two is these officers that stop you, both in the blocks and the checks, can be metro police, they can be police, they can be traffic officers, they all fall in the same cadre. So don't get wise and start thinking you can't, you can. What their purpose is if they are there that if they suspect something, either they can suspect you're driving incapacitated, or let's say you've had one or too many libations, or they can suspect that the car's unroadworthy or been part of a criminal incident or about to be part of, or that you were a witness to one. You were a witness to something and you are driving away. So they have quite a lot of latitude there as well. But that one isn't formalized in terms of a roadblock with times. They do have the latitude that they cannot just accost you and demand things from you. One very important thing, if you stop and they say, and you're told there's a warrant for your arrest, please ask for the warrant. Okay. Another thing is they say there's a truck here, please pay your outstanding fines. You don't have to pay your outstanding fines there. They have to give you a list of them, and all you do is you say, sir, I will attend to these accordingly. Okay, if there's not a warrant or a firm court order, you don't yet go and pay outstanding fines. They might not be cleared up yet.
There was something that you mentioned earlier that I wanted to pick your brain on, and it was the whole thing about, oh, that's right, who can actually permit these roadblocks or roadside checks?
So in terms of the Act, Jim, the national or provincial commissioner will give permission to have a roadblock. Okay. With very strict conditions, the hours it starts, the hours it finishes, and in generally the rationale for it, where it will be exactly. Now it appears that these rights or these authorities have been delegated down to police station commanders. So when you're in an incident, you do have the right to ask, where's the document formalizing this block, etc. But tread carefully, because they pretty much have them. They have been caught out, or not caught out. They have been not had the admin in place a number of times. So now they have it in place. And if you start becoming really wise, anyway, you shouldn't have an issue. You don't have an issue. You're not carrying contraband. You are licensed now, as I've told you. As long as you keep your car licensed and keep your car in fair shape and behave, and it'll be fine. But they do have a process that they are supposed to follow.
Okay, let's go worst case scenario here. For whatever reason,
Yeah.
let's say that you're stopped in the roadblock and they find something untoward about you or the vehicle or something.
Sure.
And they say, we are going to arrest you.
Yeah, okay. So
what do you do?
right, the first thing is be nice. Jeremy, don't be yourself. No. So we all get a little bit bolshy, especially, it could be, and I'll give you a good example. A friend of mine the other day, his wife was stopped and arrested because the car she was driving, okay, there was a warrant for arrest out on the owner of the car for unpaid fines. And they had the right to do that. So rather play along, go to the police station. Remember, you're allowed an attorney. All the stuff you see on American TV is real, okay? You're allowed representation. If you don't, they will give you representation. You don't have to say anything. And my advice is say as little as possible, go along. And if it's a minor offense, we do have a thing called police bail. An officer of a certain standing in the police station may let you go on your own, or they might ask for a small police bail, which could be anything from 200 Rand to maybe 2,000, which is a lot in many cases. But there's a rationale for that, because if it's a minor infringement, etc., a little bit of unsurety, they will let you go. But please play along. Don't resist arrest. Don't get cocky. Explain your situation clearly. Often, like the one I mentioned with my friend Pierre now and his wife, it wasn't an issue, and we got through it.
Okay, but the important thing is be nice.
Yeah, sure.
And you know what? I must be honest. The roadblock I was referring to last week that I was stopped in, the officer who came up to the car, he had his mask on properly. He stood away from the car. He said, "Good morning, sir. How are you doing?" I said, "I'm well." I said, "A bit damn cold, and I'm glad I'm sitting in my warm car and not having to do a roadblock like you, officer." And he said, "Yeah," he said, "It's not," because it was about 8:15 in the morning.
That's chills.
And he said, "You don't want to be where I am, sir." He said, "Because I'm the cold one, yeah." And he just said, "It's just a routine check. Can I see your driver's license, please?" I showed him the driver's license. He checked the license disc. And he said, "Thank you very much." And I said, "Have a nice day." He said, "You too." And, you know, he was from JMPD, very, very friendly.
Jim, I find the same. I think the interesting thing there is just what you didn't tell him, that 8:15 was on your way back home from our party the night before, because it might have turned out slightly differently.
Brogdon, get out of here. That's all we have time for this week. We'll catch up with Lance once again next week. Same time, same place. We'll catch you tomorrow when we'll be looking at medical matters with Dr. Vicky Skitter. Cherry bye.